up, everyone? I am the God, and welcome back to FriendSim, another volume for y'all. Gaze is cool and temper's hot. Part of you has always been taken with the idea of purchasing a one-way train ticket to anywhere and boarding it without looking back. Or, in your current case, stowing away without looking back. Details. The idea had always seemed so idyllic. No strings, no obligations, just you and your journey, the wind in your hair and the taste of freedom on your lips. Your little daydream didn't exactly involve careening across a perilous extraterrestrial landscape, but you've always liked to think yourself the kind of person who is open to new experiences. Not to mention new friends. In practice, though, this tastes less like freedom and more like noxious muck, which is what you're currently surrounded by. Oof. It's not unlike the slime that was in Skylar's Raccoon, except this slime is weirdly soothing and this is prickly and burny and uncomfortable. Looks like it's full of straw. You thought you were being smart by sneaking on board, jumping into some sort of cargo carriage. Oh, how wrong you'd been. The trade-off for not being caught by maimed and or killed for your blood colour is apparently this. You almost would have preferred the maiming. God knows you're used to taking a beating by now. Asdajanilaks. Chahut Maynard. After what feels like too long, the vehicle slows down and you take the opportunity to tumble out of your slime jail and onto the dusty ground, picking yourself up and hurrying away from the station before you can get spotted. A little while later, you're standing on the beginning of a massive canyon and your awful train ride almost feels worth it. The canyon stretches on endlessly, miles of yawning chasms and winding ravines at your feet. It's enough to make your mouth hang open in awe. After spending so much time in various grody parts of the city, the sight of such a pristine natural beauty touches your heart. You feel somehow inspired, like you could belt out an aria or draw a masterpiece if you tried. But before you can begin exploring your hidden creative depths, you're distracted by noises coming not too far away. You're not alone. You know what this means? A chance to get yourself more of that sweet, sweet friendship. After so many successful companionship ventures, you're thirsty for more. You pick up your jaw and go investigate. The sound leads you to more of a trail along the side of the canyon, which in turn leads you down to a roomy platform not much lower than you were started. There's a series of sharp outcrops jutting out of the plateau, and perched atop the highest one is a figure dramatically framed against the moonlight. At first you think he's peering moodily into the distance, but then you kind of realise he's looking through some kind of contraption on his face. Recording coordinates. You look around, and there doesn't seem to be anyone else there, so what you heard with this fellow muttering to himself, you guess? I see. He's so wrapped up in whatever it is that he's doing nothing. He hasn't even noticed you yet. This guy's got to be all hankering after some company, being all out and he's lonesome out here in the middle of nowhere. You're sure of it. I see. He's so wrapped up in whatever it is that he's doing, he hasn't noticed you yet. This guy's got to be hankering after some company, being all out and he's lonesome out here in the middle of nowhere. You're sure of it. You wave up and say hello. Sporting your most winning smile, you call out and greet him and give a jaunty wave. That gets his attention. Well, wouldn't let the pearl beach dragged in. Are you lost? That depends on your definition of lost. You prefer to think of whatever you're doing as just taking the scenic route. Just, like, definitely. Your new acquaintance and hopefully soon to be pal snorts unimpressed. It would be better if you did that somewhere else. Better for me, I mean, which is the most important issue currently at hand, let's face it. I still have preparations to make and I'm running out of time. You're kind of cramping my style here. Preparations? For the game, obviously. It's starting any minute now. You have no idea what he's talking about and I can't do an Abroach Vegeta voice. Seriously, you don't know about Duelist Strifers? Wow, you're even more empty-headed pleb than I thought! That's not a very fair thing to say. Sure, you might have a habit of running headfirst into stupidly dangerous situations, but there's no reason for him to assume your voice is drowned out with a crackling sound. He's levitating down from his perch towards you, sparks of energy stirring up the sand into clouds. Look at him being all animu. After meeting Savara and Kuprum, you've come to expect psionic powers from trolls with Yellowcast by now, but it still kind of takes you back. You stumble backwards, falling on your ass. The troll is unbothered by your spill, continuing to address you whilst you're still sprawled on the ground. I'll explain. Duelist Strifers pits Tony's best and brightest against each other in a timed event designed to reveal the most skilled among the group. Which would be me, of course. That goes without saying. He's getting too close to, like, not Polyper, Connell, which is his partner. He tells you a bunch of other stuff about game mechanics that, to be honest, go straight over your head. He's apparently not enough of a rush that he can't stop what he's doing to outline his plans to you. Some random passerby, in a fairly detailed manner at that. He seems pleased to have an audience, actually. While his friendship is barely off the ground, you're already doing great. You get back to your feet and nod along safely, pretending to understand all his rambling about strategy and whatnot. And then you notice he's a blinking light. It's coming from the screen over his eyes. Scanner! Interesting. My scouter can't retrieve any data on your species at all. He moves forwards and looks at you. Really looks at you. Until up to this point, he's been paying more attention to his own voice and whatever readings he's been getting on his device, but now he seems fully focused on you. Until he started to fluster a little. Actually, that is until his mouth twists into a smirk. You'll get a glimpse of a single jagged tooth. You know, it's technically possible to join in teams of 2. But now you're here. He said what he might be saying. Excitedly, you clarify whether he's asking you to join the game as his partner. Ha! Sure, I just love teaming up with clueless nerds like you. No. It'd be a nice element of surprise, though. I could do with a collateral resource. Fodder. A lackey. What do you say? That doesn't sound nearly as flattering, but it's an opportunity to help. And you've favoured so many friendships along doing whatever favours random strangers have wanted you to do for them already. Why stop now? You'll be the best lackey ever. You'll be his napper. There is no MSPA Reader. There is only napper. Right, give me a minute. Some of these voices really take my head out. His title might not be much, but that doesn't mean you can't excel at it. You can tell him you accept his offer. Excellent! By the way, I'm Master Neelax. But that you must have known that already. I'm not sure why you would. Maybe some kind of big shot? Come to think of it, that name does ring a bell. You've heard it before. When you were in the middle of infiltrating a bandit hideout with a mercenary. Connell. You've met my mate, Sprit. You must have gotten on her good side, or you wouldn't be standing here talking to me. Because you'll be minced into the ground finer than grub paste. He's grinning like he's really proud and fond of that Connell, being the sort of girl who'd make mincemeat out of someone as soon as it speaks to them. If he wasn't talking about her literally murdering you, you might find this reaction endearing. Hang on. He already has a partner, why isn't she here? As Dashi's expression sours abruptly. My partner isn't here because she didn't make our agreed rendezvous time. He says the word partner in an overtone, an exasperated puff. As if he thinks she might be listening from behind a boulder or something, and somehow shame her into appearing. You remember what Polyper said about a mercenary duos often being quadranted pairs, i.e. romantically involved. Does his girlfriend stand him up? Yikes. Maybe it's better if you haven't been promoted to partner status, if you mean getting involved in another couple spat. You've had quite enough of that already. You hope they aren't fighting. The exact nature of our quadrant is none of your business, frankly. Now, come on. We're wasting time. He steps off the edge of the plateau, descending into a crackle of energy and floating you into the canyon along with him. It's a pretty terrifying ride, but the view it affords you is pretty amazing. Soon you reach the bottom. We should keep going. If there's someone else in this valley, we'll get the drop on them if we move fast. And look at you being all animu with your long fucking hair. He grins confidently, his coat flapping around him. There isn't kind of any wind here though. Is he flapping his own coat with his sigh for dramatic effect? First, team to Neelax. You blink, tentatively mean what? Yes, him. He says it with the same way he enunciated the name of his competition earlier. Like it should have been painfully obvious. Like I told you, our aim is to take out our opponent. Swiftly and painfully. To win, you have to be the last team standing in this entire canyon. Weren't you listening when I explained earlier? You've been proceeding under the assumption that this was some kind of elaborate and competitive LARP, like solve some puzzles, get out of the giant canyon before the other type of deal. Perhaps arm wrestle your competitors into submission if you run into them, but no, this game involves actual violence. You probably shouldn't be surprised. You've been on Alternia long enough to know now to discern that, boy, trolls do sure love killing. You've been friends with plenty of trolls who have less heme-thirsty hobbies, though. You ask him whether he's ever considered getting into excessively bodily forced poetry, or streaming sick beats. Please, you're kidding, right? Now is not the time for joking around. Don't tell me you're already getting frosty strut puds. I can't work with someone with such a flimsy sense of conviction. You reassure him that no, of course not. Your strut puds are as toasty as all heck, but he's no longer paying attention to you. Scouter glints. There. He flashes past you before you can blink, riding the waves of his sigh to a collection of rocks sitting behind you. Target acquired. Nice try thinking you could outsmart me by laying wait and launching an ambush. Cowardly move. And sloppy. Very sloppy. Now prepare to get owned. Resistance is oh fuck. Probably Vegeta, as Dacia freezes, you hesitate, unsure what sort of threat you're dealing with here. But a troll girl with a cerulean blue symbol on her shirt pops up from behind the rocks. She giggles menacingly, making Ajata turn around towards you. His expression is blank and his nifty brain powers are now under your competitor's control. Echoes Ajata's sentiment? Oh fuck. You need to do something fast. You have the harebrained thoughts that maybe you can grab Ajata and physically wrest him from her control. You launch yourself towards him in a mad dash, attempting to call out a chilling battle cry, but it comes out as more pathetically yell. The girl laughs again. Ajata's eyes flash brighter than you've seen so far, almost blinding. Oh hell, those are straight up eye lasers, aren't they? I'm the fire and the laser! Those are really powerful, holy shit. You've met some strong trolls, but this kind of power is something else. In fact, Ashton was a character in a video game and you were to assign him a quantifiable number measure of his kind, some kind of level facts. That will be heroed by over 9,000! As Dash's lasers shoot at a point above you, scoring a deep gash in the rock, sending rubble toppling downwards. You reach out, grabbing at Dash's coat. You have to get out of here. The girl doesn't stop you, merely just leaping out of the way and ensuring that certain doom hurtling leaping out of the way of the certain doom that's hurling rapidly towards you. You think of something all out the corner of your eye, some last-ditch hope of not getting squashed as flat as a grub cake. You mash towards it. Your first thought when you next open your eyes is that death has finally come to tenderly cradle you in its sweet, loving embrace. But you quickly realise that you're in a cave, not the afterlife, and that the reason you can even see anything right now is because the area around you is brightened by a light coming from Ajasha's scouter. Through sheer dumb luck, you must have run towards the single safe spot in the entire ravine, this hole in the ground, as if this hole was sitting there, carved out of rock, waiting to be your escape route. You might even say this hole was made for you. Fuck! You wince, covering your ears. Could you keep it down? Maybe your nerves are a little shot from almost dying from the umpteenth time this week. No, I will not keep it down! Curses, I can't believe this! Who does that blood cast think she is? Does she realise who she's just messed with? Wow, he really looks mad. Instinctively, you reach out to execute the slow face pat that trolls seem to find so soothing, but he slaps your hand away. What do you think you're doing? I already told you I have a Moira. You stammer out an apology. It just seemed like the right thing to do, plus you thought Connor was his mate spirit. He seems to realise what he just said. A hint of yellow touches his cheek, just barely visible in the light. That's what I said. I already have a mate spirit. You're pretty sure you just heard him right the first time, and you're also pretty sure those two different sorts of relationships. But you have the subject drop. No need to rile up your new friend more. He already is. Shish Pat might have been rejected, but the lieutenant seems to snap him out of whatever pissed off funk he got himself into. Let's just get out of here. You follow the path into the cave. Can't he just blast you both out? Don't be stupid. If I did that, it would cause a cave-in. Are you that eager to get crushed? Good point. You're acting just like Connell. So ready to rush in without a game plan. If he means that as an insult, it's effective kind of lost. It sounds more wistful than irritated. You walk in silence for a while. Make sure As you make your way further into the cave, you realise that the walls aren't blank like you previously thought, but covered in complicated carvings. Cave troll art, you wonder? I know what you're thinking. That life as a prince amongst trolls must be an inevitable one. You snap to attention. Yes, of course. You were definitely thinking about him and his life story just then. I don't expect someone like you to understand. You're obviously a completely average person who will live out their life in perfect mediocrity. But not me. You don't know what it's like to be born so gifted. Completely average? That's you, alright. You try your best to be sympathetic. Having rare powers. God damn it, let me just play the game. Having rare powers must make things completely hard. What? No way, it's fucking awesome! But as you've clearly seen, it can attract unwanted attention from pathetic individuals who aren't nearly as talented as themselves. Who weren't, despite having some unbeatable psionics in their corner. To be honest, the Empire's no different, and not like the rebels that are much better. Colonel and I don't really care one way or another. We're just here to off chumps and get money. We look out for ourselves first and foremost. But eventually, we'll just send off planets to do the bidding of the Empress, just like everybody else. Okay, you can see why having no say in the matter kind of sucks. But isn't the opportunity to do cool shit in space too? As her face draws up in a wry expression. Yeah, we're someone else calling all the shots. You keep walking. After what feels like hours, his skeleton flashes again. We're here. He lets the wall have it with his eye lasers. With a resounding roar, it crumbles away. Aside from the spot he described, the rest of the cave is intact. Moonlight spills out into the open space into the impromptu exit. It's over. We're stuck down there long enough so that the game has ended. Meaning, your heart sinks. This is a disaster. He's definitely not going to want to be your friend after losing the competition he's so invested in. We're the last team standing, which makes us the winners. I knew it! That blue cast loser might have had a stroke of good luck, but there's no friends for someone on my station. My victory was foregone conclusion from the start. Bringing you along was an excellent idea. Your reckless has really come in handy back there. He's thanking you? You realise? Something close to it, honestly. You assure him that it was no problem. A prince knows when to give credit when credit is due. Celebration is in order, I think, once we collect our prize. Surprise? Fuck yeah! Duelist Strifers often offers an impressive cash reward to whoever wins. You get a cut of it as well. Oh, money! Maybe the first time you've laid your hands on stuff since you crash landed. Maybe you'll be able to find a purchase a warm meal. Or clothing that isn't from someone else's closet. More important than money, though, you've proven yourself that you aren't just a complete fuck-up. You've earned Najaz's trust and also his friendship. Victory! Thy name is MSPA Reader! Whew. Wow, my head is practically spinning and I didn't provide any water. And I should have waited until I was more awake. Whew. Well, thank you so much for watching. Stick around if you want to see some more. But for now, stay tight. Stay shy.